Ma'am, we have a visitor. A knight calling himself Sir Gareth. He says he came to see you. He's waiting for you downstairs. Yes, ma'am.
Greetings, Lady Crusader. Tales of your valor are sung throughout Tamriel, but none of them adequately describe how beautiful you are in person. Forgive my rudeness. You could say that I was mesmerized. My name is Gareth, Sir Gareth of Silvernar. Much like you were before, I've been travelling the length and breadth of Tamriel to recover divinely blessed artifacts. My current quest is to seek out a long-lost Elder Scroll. I recovered several valuable artifacts during my travels in Morrowind, including the blade True Flame and this suit of armour forged by Sotha Sil. Would you like to know more about them? Very well then. The Elder Scrolls are Aedric prophecies that are simultaneously archives of both historic and future events. Many of them have been lost in antiquity, and most of the remaining ones are safeguarded at the Imperial Library. While exploring an abandoned temple near Riften, I found a tome that described the location of an Elder Scroll that was believed to be lost. In fact, I am hoping you would accompany on a quest to recover it. Would you be willing to accompany me to Nonangalo to recover the Elder Scroll? Your assistance and experience would be most valuable. As brave and bold as the tales about you say, I shall follow your lead then. Finally, we've arrived at Nonangalo. If my information is correct, the Elder Scroll should be inside. I'll follow you into the ruins to begin our search.
Greetings, Divine Crusader. I am Al-Esh, though you may know me as Saint Alicia, the name bestowed upon me by Akatosh. The spirit of Pelennor is lost in the void, and it will not be long before I too suffer the same fate. Umaril the Unfeathered was twice defeated, yet the enslavement of humankind remains imminent. For there are forces at work that are rewriting the Elder Scrolls. The history of our world is unknown. Our only hope lies in the last of my descendants, the one with the power to restore the Covenant. As the incarnation of Pelennor Whitestone, you alone can seek out the one that carries the power and stop the rise of the slave masters. My time here is limited, and I must go now. You must succeed, or all that we have fought for will be for naught.
Lady Crusader, are you okay? You stopped walking suddenly and just stood there with your mouth open. Is something wrong? No wonder they call you the Divine Crusader. You dream of Saint Alessia, even while awake. Anyway, it's best we get going now. Lead the way, brave knight. I have a bad feeling about this. It's a trap! I've paralyzed it. Quick, finish it before the spell wears off. One of the legendary Elder Scrolls, thought to be lost in antiquity, but thanks to your assistance, it is finally about to reveal its secrets. I will need to study it to unlock its mysteries, though I might be able to glean some useful information very soon. I hope that I can receive your assistance again, once the Elder Scroll points out the next step. My next destination is the Arcane University. The scholars there can assist in the study of this Elder Scroll. I will look for you again at the Priory of the Nine once I've had a chance to delve into the Scroll's secrets. It's a Daedric spell that I learned many years ago. It can paralyze most creatures for several minutes, and it's not affected at all by magic resistance. Needless to say, it is very handy in sticky situations. Farewell, Lady Crusader.
Help! They're trying to kidnap me.
We're taking the girl. Step aside. Well, you can't protect her when you're dead.
Thank you so much for saving me. I'm really glad you were around. I don't know. I've never seen them before.
They are clearly elves, but they are not Altmere, Bosmere, or Dunmere. Maybe they're wild elves.
I have no idea what they were after. I was on my way home when the leader ran up and grabbed me, telling me not to resist. So, I kicked him where it hurts and began running. I guess I'm lucky that a sister-in-arms was here to save me. I'm Naomi Paravant. Pleased to make your acquaintance. I'm a student of First Era History and Mythology at the Archaeology Guild. You probably know the Wild Elves as aliens. They supposedly died out centuries ago, but I can't think of any other race these soldiers could be. Wait, can I ask you to do one more thing for me? I was wondering if you could escort me back to my home in case more of those soldiers show up. I live in Pell's Gate. Not too far, I hope. I could do with your company on the way back. Thank you, sister. Let's go.
I'm not saying Colovians are dumb. They're just hard-headed.
Well, I guess we're here. I'm glad I met you.
I don't know what would have happened to me had you not been going for a swim at the time. I'm glad to have made a new friend today. I wish you success in your adventures. See you again soon,
right.
Lady Crusader.
Good news.
Good
from
luck in your
Kvatch,
adventures.
Mage. The last of the Daedra have been driven out.
That's very good. Ma'am, all our knights have been accounted for. There were a number of cuts and burns, but no serious injuries to report. We have no information on their identity, although it looks like they were after the Crusaders' relics. Here's something we found on one of the soldiers, though. It's a copy of their orders to attack the Priory. Perhaps reading it will shed some light on the motive for their attack.
Try to open the escape door. Don't go anywhere. That was a close one. Are you all right? What are you doing here anyway? You shouldn't be here. Anyway, it's good to see you again. Oh, you're looking for descendants of Saint Alicia? I can't say I know of any, but I'll ask around for you. This is the Temple of Alicia, and a safe haven for her worshippers. The entrance from Sod of Alid is protected by some rather deadly traps, as you saw. Spirits of Tiber Septim's imperial god also reside here, ready to deal with any intruders who somehow get inside. There is another entrance that bypasses all the traps. Only worshippers of Saint Alicia can open it, though. You can go that way when you leave, so you won't have to go past all those traps and conjurers again.
Lady Crusader, I finally caught up with you. I tried to find you at the Priory, but it had just been attacked. They told me to look for you at Sod of Alid, so I did. When I got there, I mistook one of the conjurers for you, and I asked if she was the Divine Crusader. I think that upset her, as she summoned a Daedra and started shooting spells at me. Anyway, it's a good thing I run fast. I ran up the hill and she couldn't keep up with me. In fact, running fast runs in my family. My sister once outrun a moose that was trying to bite her. Mind you, moose bites can be pretty nasty. Oh yeah, right. The point. I've got a message for you. Here it is. That's all. I've got to go. Bye.
Scattered through the wilderness.
Lady Crusader, it's good to see you're all right. I heard about the attack on the Priory of the Nine and was concerned for your safety. But from what I've seen of your skill, I should not have worried at all. The Elder Scroll gave me insight into a topic that would almost certainly interest you. Divinely blessed artifacts can be very powerful, but like most enchanted items, they can lose their energies over time. As the Crusaders' relics are thousands of years old, it is likely that their powers are a fraction of what they used to be. The Elder Scrolls showed a way to renew these energies, and that's why I think that Auriel's Bloodstone will greatly interest you. I told you you'd be interested. Our next quest is to head over to Ondo to recover a brilliant red gem named Auriel's Bloodstone. As you know, Auriel is the elven name for Akatosh. Legends say that Auriel's Bloodstone was formed when a drop of Akatosh's blood fell to earth. Now, I've been led to believe that the blood of a god can renew artifacts related to it. Since Pelennor Whitestrake was closely associated with Akatosh, a drop of Akatosh's blood could indeed renew the powers of the Crusaders' relics. Now, do you understand why I was so excited when I learned this? I'm ready to depart at any time. Are you ready to proceed to Ondo? Ah, good to have your assistance once again. Lead the way to Ondo, brave knight. How appropriate. The chamber where Auriel's Bloodstone is kept is engulfed in flames. Lucky for us, I expected there to be a lot of fire, and came prepared. Follow me closely, and you won't get burned. The long-lost Bloodstone of Auriel. If this really is a drop of blood from Akatosh, it will renew the powers of the Crusaders' relics. Let's get out of this hellish dungeon and head back to the Priory of the Nine. Once we get there, I'll try to channel the energies from the Bloodstone into your Crusaders' relics. Lead the way back, brave knight. Thank you for helping me to retrieve Auriel's Bloodstone. Now that we're here, I can begin the enchantment to channel the energies from Auriel's Bloodstone into the Crusaders' relics at any time. Let me know once the relics are on the stand and you're ready to begin. Auriel's Bloodstone is activated by fire, but for it to renew the blessings on the Crusaders' relics, a mysticism component is also needed. Using insights gained from the Elder Scroll that we discovered, I have created a modified fire spell just for this purpose. The enchantment will be cast through the Bloodstone, channeling its energies into the relics. If the Bloodstone is indeed a drop of Akatosh's blood, the Crusaders' relics should become as powerful as when Pelennor Whitestrake used them. I can see all the Crusaders' relics are on the stand. Let's get started then. I'll start the enchantment now. The legendary Divine Crusader. As gullible as you are powerful. You've been most helpful by handing me an Elder Scroll, Auriel's Bloodstone, and the Crusaders' relics on a silver platter. But now that you are no longer of any use to me, I cannot allow you to get in my way.
Greetings.
Finally, you're awake. Try not to move too much. You were badly hurt. You're on the Priory, Undercroft. You've been unconscious for a long time. It was a large force of Aelids and Aurorans. They attacked the Priory and overwhelmed the Knights of Nine. Not long after I snuck down here, the building started collapsing, trapping us both in here. Yes, it looks like the building above us collapsed and caved in the only exit. I already looked around, couldn't find another way out. I've already put out all of the torches to conserve air, but it's going to run out sooner or later. Unless you come up with something, or one of your knights is alive to rescue us, we'll end up suffocating to death down here. They were caught off guard. Gareth must have ordered the attack when most of them were on patrol or sleeping. The knights fought bravely, but Gareth's soldiers clearly had the upper hand. I wanted to check if they were all right, but the building started collapsing before I could get up there. I don't know how many of them escaped. There's Ayleid soldiers waiting outside my house and at Alicia's temple. I can't return to either. The Priory was the safest place I could think of, at least until the attack. It's a good thing that I found you in the Undercroft as you were on the floor bleeding. I think you would have died had I arrived a minute later. Besides, I think I owe you an apology. Remember when you asked me about the descendants of Saint Alicia at Sard of Ayleid? I'm sorry that I lied about not knowing any. You were asking the same questions as the Ayleids who tried to kidnap me, so I couldn't be sure you weren't one of their spies. I guess that this attack on the Priory proves you're not. But anyway, before my mother died, she told me that I was the last direct descendant of Saint Alicia. I don't know if it's true or not, or what that means to you or the Ayleids, but that's what I know. See you!
Thank the Nines! You're alive! We feared the worst when the Priory came crashing down, but Sir Thedret assigned me to look for you, knowing that you could be alive. The rest of the team are holed up in an abandoned shack to the north. I'll take you there. Let's go.
By the power of Akatosh!
The power of the Nine!
Sir Knight, I would speak with you.
Is something troubling you? You don't look yourself. Hail, Sir
No,
Knight.
it's nothing.
Blessings of the
I
Nine.
appreciate your concern, but it isn't anything I'm ready to talk about right now.
By the power of the Nines, you made it! I knew in my heart that someone who could defeat Umaril in the spirit plane would barely be troubled by a collapsing building. Much has happened since the Priory was destroyed. We've found the location of Gareth's castle and have successfully infiltrated it. I'll fill you in on any details that you need. As an Altmare, he was able to don an Ayleid uniform and pass himself off as an Ayleid. He successfully infiltrated the castle and reports that he can access the gatehouse and raise the portcullises for our counterattack. He's also been quietly slipping some of his alchemical concoctions into the Ayleids' drinking water, making them easier to deal with when we attack. The Nord brothers are scouting the area around the castle and staying in contact with Sir Ereldur inside. We'll rendezvous with them before we launch our attack. Gareth's base of operations is Castle Relays, a fortification on the western bank of White Rose River, hidden away from regular travel routes. The castle itself is extremely well defended, with a twin portcullis kill zone protecting the only entrance. The upper levels and inner wall are entirely self-contained and can only be accessed from a single stairwell protected by another portcullis. Normally, attacking this castle would be suicide, but lucky for us, we have someone on the inside. The Crusaders' relics are in Gareth's custody now. Recovering them is a primary goal for the castle raid. We have completed our preparations to storm Gareth's castle, to recover the Crusaders' relics, and bring Gareth to justice. Whenever you give me the signal, we'll lead the knights to meet Sir Gaimon and Sir Gurkamir a short distance south of the castle. They'll signal Sir Ereldor to open the gates for us. Are you ready to proceed? Let me know when you're ready, then. We've placed any armor and weapons that we were able to salvage into that chest over there. It isn't much, but it's better than nothing. We have completed our preparations to storm. Whenever you... Are you ready to proceed? As you command, Lady Crusader. I'll assemble the knights for our march to Castle Relays.
Good to see you, ma'am. I can signal Sir Ereldor to open the gates at any time. Right away, ma'am.
The courtyard is secured. Sir Cowardice and I will lead the raids on the guest house and the barracks, while you spearhead the attack on the main hall.
I'm on your side!
By the nines. It's so good to see you. Gareth's forces are in disarray, and once I let the rest of the knights into the upper levels, we should be able to occupy the castle. Very urgently, though, I saw Gareth heading into the basement with the Crusaders' relics. We can handle the rest of the assault on the castle, but you're the only one amongst us who's a match for Gareth. Head down there and stop him.
Hello? Who? What are you? Are you one of the slave masters? You're not? Thank the gods. I haven't seen your kind around here. You must have come from a foreign land to aid in the rebellion. My friends call me Ovidius. I was a slave at Vindassel until I was freed. Yes, that's where I was until the rebel soldiers stormed in. I was one of the first slaves to escape. The soldiers are still fighting. Go and help them if you can. Vindassel is located on the western side of the mouth of the river. Yes, I heard rumors of a former slave called Al-Ish is leading a rebellion against the slave masters. I didn't think it was true until soldiers stormed Vindassel and started freeing the slaves. She's the supposed leader of the rebellion. I only just escaped, so I don't know anything about her. What do you mean? You don't know where you are? You're in Sirid, the heartland of the Aliad Empire. I was running through the woods when I heard the explosion above me. Bits and pieces started falling from the sky. I was nearly crushed by a metal grate that landed a few paces from me. If you look around, you'll see the debris everywhere. You're the only person I saw fall out of the sky, though. Goodbye, my lady.
Thank you for your assistance in liberating Vindassel. I've been growing this beard in preparation for a journey into Skyrim. Alicia is freeing slaves throughout Sirod. Her rebellion grows stronger by the day, and the end of Aliad rule is only a matter of time. She's our leader, and the leader of the slave rebellion. If you have any funny business in mind, remember that she's protected by 2 demigods. If you want to talk to her, speak to Mori House at Fanakasicle. She's our leader, and the leader of the slave rebellion. If you would like to talk to her, you'll find her at Fanakasicle. May the 8 guide your way.
Lady Crusader, I knew you would eventually end up here. My, am I glad to see you. And you'll never believe who else is also eager to see you. You won't believe this, but it's Saint Alicia herself. She's also accompanied by her demigod companion, the winged bull Mori House. But I'm sure the one you'd most want to meet is the one whose armor and weapons you've been using, Pellinor Whitestrake himself. I've told them about some of our adventures, and how we ended up here in Sea Road. Just remember not to reveal too much about the future, especially about Umaril, the outcome of the rebellion, and me being Queen Alicia's descendant. I saw Gareth's portal implode and pull you into it. Shortly after, I was pulled in as well. I ended up near Vindicel, and tried to look for you even though I wasn't sure that we both ended up in the same place. Some Elysian soldiers had just started a raid on Vindicel. The captain spotted me and instructed one of his scouts to escort me to safety. And that's how I ended up here, in Fanakasicle. I've heard of such time portals, but thought they were impossible to create. But so were Oblivion gates, until the Siege of Kvatch proved otherwise. Creating them requires an Elder Scroll, and destroying several artifacts that were made by the gods during the Destination time period. Since these priceless artifacts are destroyed in the process, few would dare experiment with such magic. With 8 First-Era Divine artifacts in one spot, it's no wonder Gareth wanted the Crusaders' relics. I'm sure you figured it out already, but we're technically still in Tamriel. Gareth's portal sent us 4,000 years into the past, into the First Era. This is the actual year that White Gold Tower was captured by Alicia's slave rebellion, and the Ayleid Empire was brought to an end. As a student of First Era history, I'm really happy to be at such a major turning point in history. But at the same time, I'm worried as it's no accident that Gareth chose to come here. I don't know what he plans to do, but if he changes the course of history, it could be catastrophic for the Septim Empire as we know it.
Welcome, Lady Crusader. I have long foreseen your arrival here today, and sense that you have an important role in events to come. I sense that you will play an important role in future events, but before you can, you must restore that which grants you powers from the Eight. Only by recovering, repairing, and then reconsecrating the artifacts that you call the Crusaders' relics can you hope to succeed. You are in possession of all 8 of the Crusaders' relics. Yet, they are damaged beyond use, and are tainted by Daedric magic. You must seek the aid of both Mori House and Pellinor to ensure they are repaired and reconsecrated. The Ayleids have enslaved our kind for too long. We are freeing slaves across Sirod, and they in turn are bolstering our numbers. For every slave that you free, we will pay you a reward of 200 gold. For freeing the slave. For every slave that you free. Yes, as a slave, I prayed to the Aedra for liberation from the aliens. My prayers were answered in the form of 3 visions of things to come. The 3rd vision was a harbinger, Pelinal's arrival. While this has come to pass, part of the vision has long perplexed me. For in the vision, Pelinal's every action was shadowed by a mortal clad in the same armor, something I thought impossible. Yet, with your rediscovery of Pelinal's artifacts in a future era, and your arrival here today, my understanding of the 3rd vision is now complete. May the 8 guide your way.
So you're the one they call the Divine Crusader a few thousand years from now, eh? You dug my armor out of the ground, and then fought Umaril in a dream. That doesn't make you a hero in my book. She is known as the Slave Queen, for she rose above her humble roots as a slave to lead the rebellion that would overthrow the Alien Empire. Never in my travels have I met a mortal who displayed such wisdom, or was so attuned to the gods. She has forged alliances with the rebel Alien kings, the Needs, the Bretons, and even the gods themselves. With her unbroken string of victories against the elves, the fall of the Tower of White Gold is only a matter of time. You want to repair my armor and weapons after they've been buried in the ground for a few thousand years and then burned by magic fire? I hope you have plenty of time. The technology to repair them won't be available for a few thousand years. And even if you found a way to repair them, these armor and weapons were blessed by the 8, and they only bother with a worthy hero like me. If you can somehow repair the relics, and are deluded enough to try talking to the gods, then be my guest. You'll find the Shrine of the 8, hidden behind a waterfall west of Sard, and there you can pray to your heart's content. But I can tell you now that they're not fond of silly little mortals with delusions of grandeur. Don't blame me if they ignore you, or worse, strike you down with a bolt of lightning for your belligerence. You want to repair my armor and weapons after they've been buried in the ground for a few thousand years and then burned by magic fire? I hope you have plenty of time. The technology to repair them won't be available for a few thousand years. And even if you found a way to repair them, these armor and weapons were blessed by the 8, and they only bother with a worthy hero like me.
Greetings, Lady Crusader. I have heard much about you from your friend, Naomi. It is both an honor and a marvel to receive a visitor from another era. I am Morehouse, the first breath of man. I was granted the Nordic powers of Thu'um by Kainereth. and sent here to aid in the liberation of humanity. Pelinal is always boasting that his armor and weapons are from the future and can't be recreated. Yet I know that he traveled extensively with a talented blacksmith named Vulcanus, who maintained his armor. It will be worth your while to talk to him. As for reconsecrating them, you'll have to ask Pelinal about that. She is known by many names. She was named Alesh by her followers, and this led to the more familiar corruptions Alashut, Esha, and Alessia. Another title was Paravant, meaning first of its kind. From that, the names Paraval, Pevish, Parathu, and Perith were derived. But as her lover and consort, I know her as Paravanya, First Empress, Lady of Heaven, and Queen Utsirod. He wants to stay far away from adventuring nowadays. But last I heard, he had settled down in Saracen. He'll probably send you on a quest for some exotic raw materials first, before he'll help. Farewell, Lady Crusader.
Lady Crusader, are you heading off? So they know of a way to repair them? That's great! Queen Alicia has asked me to study the Adabel, so I'll be here in Fanikasekul if you need anything. Yes, the Adabel, meaning Godstone in the Aelid language. They are Aelid soul gems of great power. You see the red diamond that Queen Alicia is wearing around her neck? That's actually Chimel Adabel, the Godstone that eventually became the Amulet of Kings, as worn by Uriel Septim. It turns out that there's two others just like it, and I've been given the chance to study them. See you!
Welcome to Sirkin. That's me, Vulcanus. I used to be an adventurer, but there's already enough strife in the world without me adding to it. So I've retired from creating weapons and armor, and instead I specialize in tools that help things to grow. You want me to reforge your weapons and armor? You must be mistaken, my friend. I gave up the adventuring life long ago, and I no longer create instruments of war. Pelinal's weapons and armor? By the Eight! They are Pelinal's equipment. They're supposed to be indestructible. What have you done to them? And just as importantly, how did you get them off Pelinal? So, you say you obtained these from the future? Times are strange indeed, with demigods and travelers from the future roaming the land. The technology to make Titanite alloy won't be discovered for another few thousand years, or so Pelinal says. As a time traveler, he knew the secrets of Titanite alloy and taught me how to maintain his equipment. Believe it or not, Titanite alloy is actually a type of steel. Very pure iron and carbon alloyed together with Titanite. Heat treated in a certain way, it becomes one of the toughest alloys known, stronger than even Daedric ebony. The hardest part of making this alloy is obtaining the Titanite, of course. That's the problem. It doesn't exist naturally. The only place it's been found is within the meteorites that the gods hurl down from the heavens. Since I haven't worked on Titanite alloy in a while and I know the site of a meteorite strike nearby, I'll make a deal with you. I'll reforge Pelinal's gear for you if you bring me 30 pounds of Titanite crystals. But before you agree, there's a couple of catches. The first catch is that the meteorite site is deep underwater, and the few who dared investigate it never returned from its depths. There were reports of one Argonian who claimed to return alive. He said he was attacked by living crystal and barely escaped with his life. Whether his stories are true or just the ramblings of a maddened lizard, you'll need water-breathing equipment and a light source as well. Tamira the Enchanter over there may have some items that you'll find useful. Titanite is a very hard and tough mineral. Only diamond is hard enough to scratch it. I have a diamond-tipped hammer here if you want to buy it for 400 gold. No returns if you buy it, though. That will be 400 gold, thank you. That's very brave of you. You'll find the site of the meteorite strike in the waters southeast of here. I'll mark it on your map. Remember to collect 30 pounds. 20 will be used to reforge your equipment, and I'll keep 10 pounds as payment. You'll need to bring me 30 pounds of... Have you found any Titanite? You found 30 pounds of Titanite? You are truly an adventurer worthy of inheriting Pelinal's weapons and armor. Let me know when you are ready to reforge Pelinal's equipment. I'll need them for a day or two while I work on them. You're ready? Let's begin by finding out how you would like the weapons and armor reforged. Now, would you like the armor reforged as light or heavy armor? And would you like me to polish them so that they are bright and shiny, or leave them with their antique appearance? So let's recap. You would like me to reforge the armor as light armor and polish them to a mirror finish, is that correct? Excellent. I'll just take the Titanite and Pelinal's gear off you then. I'll reforge them to your specifications and adjust them to fit you better, since your body shape is so different to Pelinal's. Return in a few days and the weapons and armor will be ready for you to pick up. Welcome back. Yes, I have reforged the Crusaders' relics, and physically they are as good as new. All you need to do is re-enchant them, and they'll be better than they were before. You'll find them on the armor stand over there, so please go ahead and try them on now. I hope they serve you well for years to come, and if they ever need repair, just place them back on the stand and I'll look after them for you. Farewell, milady.
While wearing the demigod's weapons and armor, yet you are immortal. To walk amongst gods requires fortitude beyond the comprehension of most mortals. You have shown courage to come this far, yet will it prevail against your numerous peers? Pass this simple test, prove yourself worthy, and the ape will restore these relics back to her.
You're back. Queen Lycia and the others are waiting for you. They're about to hold a secret meeting, and you're part of it. They didn't say, but I think they're planning the fall of White Gold Tower. Just imagine! You'll be part of the most famous event in First Era history. You'd better go in before they get impatient.
Now that we are all here, let us begin. Unprecedented in history is the gathering of 4 heroes in one location. 4 individuals blessed with the ability to alter their destiny. I've summoned you all here today for a mission of utmost importance. With each passing day, our armies liberate another part of Sirid, and the time has finally come for us to strike at the heart of Iliad power. As you are all aware, the Tower of White Gold is protected by a magical barrier that neither our armies nor our magic can penetrate. Our spies have revealed that this spirit barrier is powered by Daedric furnaces, located in 4 uncaptured Iliad settlements. These are Wendir to our northwest, Erlenglyn to the west, Nenyond Twill south of us, and Kemen, Eastern Sirud's last uncaptured settlement. Our best course of action is to destroy these Daedric furnaces simultaneously and attack the Tower of White Gold before they can be repaired. All the furnaces must be destroyed. If any remain functional, the spirit barrier may remain intact, hindering our capture of the Iliad capital. As our army is preparing for the final assault on the Tower of White Gold, dividing them amongst isolated targets would compromise our end goal. Therefore, the task of destroying these targets falls to the 4 of you. Pellinor Whitestrake, the Star-Made Knight, will be well known to you all. He will assault the most heavily guarded of the 4 targets, Kemen. Morihaus, the first breath of man, also needs no introduction. He will destroy the Wendir furnaces before returning here to lead the final assault. Also joining us here today is Ungerd the Outlaw, son of Harold Hanfree, and hero of Skyrim. He will destroy the furnaces at Ilinglin. Finally, the task of assaulting Nenyond Twill falls to the Divine Crusader, a time traveler from the 3rd Era, 4,000 years hence. You may believe it is coincidence, but with 4 missions and 4 heroes, I believe it to be the will of the gods. The fall of the Tower of White Gold is an event that we've dreamed of since the beginning of the rebellion. Your successes today will ensure our victory. Go now, and may the 8 watch and guide you along the way.
Please, Free the others, and rescue the ones trapped inside the Daedric furnaces. Horrible machines. They literally burn away the victim's soul in order to power whatever it is the slave masters need powering. You must destroy them, so they can't harm anyone else. I don't know how, but I have a hunch. I think they might be harmed by electricity, as I saw a slave master get into a lot of trouble for practicing shock spells near the furnaces. Once they're inside the Daedric furnace, the cage can't be opened without stopping the machine. Fortunately, I overheard one of the slave masters say that a magic that absorbs souls could cause the machine to stop momentarily. The soul is what makes us living beings. Without a soul, we are just breathing lumps of flesh and bone. As their souls are destroyed, the victims start losing awareness of the world around them, and soon become blathering idiots. Eventually, they stop responding to anything, and by then, they may as well be dead, since they no longer know how to eat or drink. Please rescue the slaves, and...
I'm glad that you are back. Pellinor has failed to destroy the Daedric furnaces at Kemen, and the spirit barrier is still intact. Furthermore, I fear that his life is in danger. Because of this unexpected development, there is now another critical task for you to complete. Do not concern yourself with Kemen. Olmgerd the Outlaw was first to return, so I sent him to Kemen to complete the mission that Pellinor did not. Once he succeeds, the Spirit Bearer will be brought down, and we will storm the Tower of White Gold. As the vision prophesied, you were able to restore the relics of Pellinor Whitestrake, paving the way for you to follow in his footsteps. He was successful in destroying the Daedric furnaces at Windir. He is now preparing our army for attack. Shortly after you departed for Nenyond Twill, a messenger came looking for him. Apparently, Umaril the Unfeathered issued him a challenge. Never one to back down, he stormed off to the Tower of White Gold on his own. Yes, indeed he did. He was allowed to walk through the barrier unimpeded, but none of our soldiers were able to follow. Pellinor's reputation for destruction is well known, and the Aliads would certainly not allow him into the capital, unless they were well prepared. I am therefore certain that it's a trap. That is why I need you to investigate. I need you to find a means to pass through the barrier, find Pellinor, and get him back out if he is still alive. He may be the most powerful warrior in Sirud, but his rage and conceit may blind him to dangers that are beyond even his ability to handle. Given enough time, the Aliads will find a way to defeat his immortality, and therefore we cannot wait until Olmgerd destroys the furnaces at Kemen. If you have any questions about this task, please ask them now. Otherwise, may the Eight speed you on your way. It appears to be Planar Nexus to Meridia's realm. We've seen the occasional Auroran pop in or out of existence at the barrier. Perhaps passing through it requires similar abilities as planar travel to Meridia's realm. May the Eight guide your way.
You're going after Pellinor, aren't you? Listen, Pellinor is supposed to die today. You can't save him without changing history, which could have disastrous consequences. The Aliads are going to do terrible things to him. You've been a good friend to me, and I don't want to see the same happen to you. Please promise you'll be careful. Please stay safe. Queen Alicia says that someone with the ability to enter Meridia's realm might be able to pass through the barrier. At Gallus Molitor, you followed Umaril into another realm, didn't you? Whatever you did there, maybe you should try it again.
Watch out! Above you! Curse those aliens and their descendants for all eternity! Look what they've done to me! Listen, hero. You may have defeated Umaril, but know this. The slave masters are a cunning breed. Umaril found a way to cheat death, as I could not. He bound himself to the realm of Meridia, so he is not slain, but simply cast adrift upon the waters of Oblivion. Yes, you are a traveler from the future with the gift of hindsight. I rest more easily now. But know that Umaril was in league with an alien warrior, wearing armor from the future, with the power to paralyze even Ada like me. So, you know of whom I speak. My armor can turn any weapon, any spell, yet offered no protection against this Gareth's devilry. Once I was immobilized, the alien sorcerer kings could strike me with impunity and cut me into eighths. You must promise me that you will hunt down this time-traveling alien rat and make him suffer for what he has done to me. Thank you, hero. I must admit, I was wrong about you. Your quest to the Shrine of the Eight was supposed to be a fool's errand, yet you somehow managed to convince the gods of your worthiness. Since then, your deeds have shown that you stand tall among heroes, like the Eternal Champion and the Niravarine. There is something I need to give you. The pieces of my body have been scattered, but I know that Umaril took my torso upstairs. Find it, and inside my chest cavity you will find my heart. It is what allows me to communicate with the gods, the source of my power and immortality. Take it. I want you to have it. It will allow you to tap directly into the power of the Aedra and grant you a portion of my immortality. Take advantage of its power to hunt down this Gareth you speak of. Succeed, and you will have my eternal gratitude. One last thing. Please find Morias. I have much to tell him, but very little time is remaining. Please, go find him for me.
The Tower of White Gold has finally fallen. The Iliad Empire has ended, and humans throughout Cirid will celebrate this day for years to come. Yet for Morehouse and I, this occasion is tinged with sadness, for one of our champions has fallen. I thank you for your personal role in the closing chapters of the Slave Rebellion. Without your aid, the Spirit Barrier may still be standing, and Umaril may still be the antithesis of all that the rebellion stands for. Once we have cleared any remaining pockets of resistance, I will use the Tower of White Gold as the seat of government for the first human empire. Among the first things I will do is rebuild the empire and instate the 8 divines as the state religion, so that man and mare can live in harmony. Under my rule, an era of peace and freedom will ensue throughout Tamriel. I instructed Naomi to stay out of harm's way. She was witnessing the battle from afar, from the safety of Fanak Hezekol. No doubt that as a historian, this battle was of immense interest to her. I know not of this Gareth that you speak of. Should any enemy have been captured, they would be kept prisoner at Fanak Hezekol. Once you are ready, please return with Naomi, and we will find a way to get you back to the third era.
The gate is open from the other side. We can't get into the throne room. Captain Gaius? Are you still alive? Open the gate so we can help. Captain Gaius, please open the gate. Please, sir, let us in! I'm sorry, ma'am. I wasn't able to get into the throne room in time. I don't know. I was asleep and was woken up by the commotion. Naomi was wounded, but she ran through the gate before it closed. She just stood there, and that alien in the white armor struck her down. Oh yes, there's something else. Before she ran in, she yelled something at me. Something like, "Tell the Divine Crusader she must get the Audibal." To come think of it, as soon as she was in the throne room, she went straight for the Audibal and put it around her neck. I tried my best, ma'am, but I'm sorry I couldn't save Naomi. I know she was a good friend to you. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, can I request a favor of you? I was hoping you could bring news of the attack on Fanasical to Queen Alicia and General Morehouse. They'll be able to send reinforcements, which I think we'll definitely be needing now. Thank you, ma'am. One of the patrols should be back shortly, and we'll be able to hold Fanasical until then.
The ashen look on your face tells me that something terrible has transpired. Please tell me, what happened? Everyone? How? That is terrible news indeed. And what of Naomi? And the Audibal? then this Gareth is no ordinary foe. Fanakazakel was well guarded by trained soldiers, including members of my Queen's Guard. Despite our success at the Tower of White Gold today, I'm afraid that our situation has become desperate. Gareth has taken 2 very powerful godstones that will grant him the power to influence man and mare alike. With the Elder Scroll in his possession, Gareth has shown his willingness to alter the course of history for his own personal gain. If he is not stopped, he will threaten the existence of millions of lives, past, present, and future. As the Divine Crusader of the Third Era, this task falls to you, Lady Crusader. None of us here possess the knowledge to open the portals that you described Gareth's summoning. However, there is an alternative, but it is fraught with danger. It's possible that you could be killed in the process. Some time ago, we captured an alien mage. Malinir, as he is known, turns out to have unrivaled expertise in petrification magic. Quite simply, he'll turn you into a statue for 4,000 years. Indeed. While petrified, you will not age or require food, water, or even air. If all goes as expected, you will return to normal when the spell ends. But there are 2 potential problems. The first is that such long-duration petrification has never been attempted before. If there are any miscalculations, we may miss the date that you wish to return to by hundreds or even thousands of years. While petrified, you will effectively be a statue. You'll be unaware of your surroundings and cannot react to any events around you. Therefore, you must choose a location where your statue will be safe from damage for at least 4,000 years. I know the risks are great, but we have no alternatives. Ultimately, it is up to you to decide whether you wish to take this course of action. Quite simply, we'll turn you into a statue for 4,000 years. While petrified, you will not age or require food, water, or even air. As you'll be unable to react to events around you, you'll need to choose a location where your statue will be safe from damage for at least 4,000 years. I have no doubts about Malinir. Let's say we have an arrangement that will guarantee his cooperation.
Malinir at your service. I am the one who will attempt to petrify you for 4 millennia or thereabout. Are you ready to proceed? Good. Let's proceed to the spot that you wish to be petrified. You'll need to find something to lie on that will withstand the ravages of time. Some kind of stone slab or altar that's raised above the floor would be ideal. I'll try my best, but keep in mind that such a long-duration petrification has never been attempted before. I can't guarantee you'll awaken in the correct year, or even the correct century. Lead on, I shall follow you. Yes, that's right. Lie down and try to relax. Stay as still as you can, and if you can sleep, even better. I am starting the petrification process now, and soon you will begin to feel the flow of time fading away. Right, now while that's active, let's start the second stage. Curses! That wasn't supposed to happen. Captain, come give me a hand over here.
Is that normal? Is she supposed to look like that?
Shut up and get over here now! Your queen will be furious if the Divine Crusader crumbles into dust before we've even started. We must try again quickly. It's got to work this time.
I can't believe it. You've actually returned, just like they said you would. The others will be so relieved to hear this. Sir Thedred sent me here to find you, and there's much more important news that I need to share with you. I am Drekius, one of the new members of the Knights of the Nine. I joined when the enslavement of Argonians began. I didn't. But Sir Thedred says that you've disappeared mysteriously more than once, and that you always return when you're needed most. That's why he sent myself and others all over Tamriel to search for you. It had crossed my mind that your prophesied return was just a story to boost morale. But it turns out that he was right all along. Much like his alien ancestors, Gareth views non-elf races as inferior. He started by rounding up the so-called beast races, Argonians and Khajiit. When the Imperial Legion started knocking on doors in my hometown of Leowin, I fled and joined the Knights of the Nine. I'm sure that orcs will be next, and once they're under control, he'll start to enslave humans as well. Much has happened in the years since you left. Gareth is now the Emperor, and has ordered the enslavement of Argonians and Khajiit. The Knights of the Nine are being persecuted, but they are proving more resilient than Gareth ever imagined. You'll find them at Fort Nikel. We move around a lot to avoid the Imperial Legion, but our current hideout is in Fort Nikel's North Tower. It's an abandoned fortress west of Way. Gareth somehow got his hand on the Amulet of the Kings. He relit the dragon fires and proclaimed himself Emperor of Tamriel. Between state-sanctioned slavery and persecuting the Knights of the Nine, he's already proven to be quite the tyrant. Much of Tamriel wants him deposed, but few are willing to speak out for fear of being arrested. The first thing that Gareth did on becoming Emperor was to declare the Knights of the Nine traitors to the Empire. Since then, we've been hunted by the Imperial Legion. Those of us who were caught were executed, their bodies hung up as a warning. You'll be glad to hear that the original 8 that fought alongside you at Garthus Malastar have all survived. Unfortunately, some of us did not. Simply wearing anything with a red diamond on it is enough reason to be executed for treason, it seems. Ironically, these executions turned public opinion against Gareth, and the Knights of the Nine came to symbolize the rebellion against his oppression. Yes. News of the persecution spread quickly, and anyone wanting to fight against Gareth sought out the Knights of the Nine. Sir Thedrith was glad to accept them, of course. And the Knights of the Nine is now a small army, with the original 8 knights being the commanders. We're waiting for the right opportunity to strike at the Imperial City and bring Gareth to justice. With your return, I think the time is right. I'm going to head back to Fort Nikel to inform Sir Thedrith of your return. Head over there as soon as you can. See you there.
Lady Crusader, once again you've made it back, surviving what most would consider certain death. Drekius informed me of your arrival. We've already drawn up plans to take over the Imperial City and remove Gareth from power. All we're waiting for is your command, ma'am. While we have enough soldiers to make a well-planned attack on the Imperial City, our biggest problem is Gareth himself. The Amulet of Kings gives him power over man and mare. His voice instantly charms lesser minds, and that's how he came into power so quickly. We can't simply march an army into the Imperial Palace, as they'll end up turning on themselves as soon as he uses the amulet's powers. We could sneak a select few into the palace, but remember that Gareth single-handedly defeated 8 Knights of the Nine at the Priory. But with your return, we finally have a champion whose combat prowess matches his, and that's what my plan revolves around. What we'll do is create a diversion while you sneak in via the Imperial sewer system. When you're ready, let me know and I'll start a detailed briefing of the operation. The Imperial Legion was thrown into turmoil when Gareth proclaimed himself Emperor. Most of them believed that they were duty-bound to serve whomever relit the dragon fires, whether they liked the person or not. Others believed that some sort of trickery was involved and refused to recognize him as Emperor. But the pivotal moment was when Gareth ordered them to round up minority races, and that's when the fighting began. Many Imperial Legion soldiers left in disgust, while others are now covertly aiding our resistance. Gareth ordered the Imperial City sealed off. The entrances are heavily guarded and barred from the inside. There's no way of getting in without a small army and heavy siege equipment. Fortunately for us, we have some contacts on the inside who will open the gates for us when the time comes. I don't know how he obtained it, but he has the Amulet of Kings and used it to relight the dragon fires, claiming the Imperial throne for himself. There are rumors that his Amulet of Kings is a fake, and that he is not a legitimate successor to the Septums. But while the dragon fires are burning, he has support from most of the Imperial Legion, and many citizens, especially the elves. Even while on the run, we have had benefactors wanting to see our resistance succeed. We have a supply of high-quality steel that Sergius uses to make this heavy armor that we're wearing, as well as shields for the new members. Sir Gaiman and Sir Gokimir were also able to obtain a shipment of legendary Skyforged steel swords from Skyrim, with which to arm their squads. We occupied it for a short while after your disappearance. The Imperial Legion then showed up one day and ordered us to vacate it. No sooner than we had left the building, they surrounded us in the courtyard and tried to arrest us. That's when we knew that something was amiss. I'll be leading the Knights of the Nine to the Imperial City as soon as the briefing ends, so we won't be able to pause the mission. Are you ready to begin? As you command, Lady Crusader. I'll go through with you what you'll need to do as soon as I've briefed the Knights.
Our first step is informing the others, of course. The Knights of the Nine must be one, in both voice and action. You show much wisdom, my friend.
Good evening.
Knights of the Nine, assemble! Today is the day that we have been preparing for. Today is the day that the Divine Crusader has returned to lead us to victory. Today we will storm the Imperial City to depose a tyrant who threatens all free people with enslavement. Our primary objective is to create a diversion so that the Divine Crusader can reach the Imperial Palace. Allies within the Imperial Legion will unbar the gates at the Talos Plaza and Temple districts. We will enter and set up a defensive formation, holding these choke points for as long as necessary. Although we will be outnumbered, the streets will prevent the enemy from flanking us, allowing us to hold our ground against a larger force. Once we're in position, the enemy will be drawn towards our location, leaving the other districts relatively unguarded. The Divine Crusader will take this opportunity to enter the Market District from a secret passage and make her way to the Imperial Palace. The enemy is a mix of Aurorans, Eliads, and Legion soldiers. Some Legion soldiers are allies and will have a red diamond painted on their armor. Do not attempt to confront Gareth if you encounter him. He is much too powerful for any of us to fight. Instead, focus your efforts on keeping the enemy away from the Divine Crusader so that she can deal with Gareth. By the end of the day, Gareth will be removed from power. His ability to influence man and mare will be broken. And without their leader to bind them here, the Aurorans will be banished back to Meridia's realm. May the Nine watch over you all. Knights of the Nine, move out! Now that you know how we'll set up the diversion, here's what you'll need to do. You'll need to head to the north exit of the Imperial sewer system. The gate there may be locked, so make sure you have some lockpicks with you. Follow this map that I've given you and wait at the Market District entrance. Once we've started the attack, I'll send a runner to let you know. We'll hold our positions for as long as we can to give you time to find Gareth and defeat him. May the Nine watch over you, Lady Crusader.
Lady Crusader! Just letting you know that the attack has started. You should head up there now. I'm going back to help Sir Thedret now.
Thank you for freeing me from house arrest. But if you're after Gareth, he's not here. He's gone to the Temple of the One. Hurry there before more guards arrive.
Ah, the Divine Crusader finally shows up again. I admire your persistence, finding your way back even after being stranded in the First Era. Do you like what I've done with the place? Relighting the dragon fires has certainly brightened up this temple, don't you think? And look who's here as well. Your Knights of the Nine, following you like lambs to the slaughter.
We're with you, Lady Crusader. Let's take him out together.
I've fought mud crabs more fearsome than you.
Pathetic worms. Lady Crusader, you are not paralyzed. Most impressive indeed. Just as well, my Aurorans could do with some exercise. Cry as much as you want, Lady Crusader. The gods protect me now. You fool! Do you have any comprehension of what you have just done? You may have just caused the end of civilization in Tamriel. The gods would never forgive me if I allowed you to plunge the Empire into civil war and bloodshed. It's time for you to taste the true power of Meridia's blinding light.
You did it! You actually defeated Gareth! The guy was able to take out an army on his own, yet you bested him. Although I was powerless to help, I saw everything with my own eyes. Even then, I'm still finding it hard to believe what just happened. Was that really Naomi who appeared at the Dragonfires? It must have. How else could she have appeared and prayed to the Nine? And being a descendant of Saint Alessia, the gods must have heard her. The fighting outside seems to have stopped now. With the Dragonfires extinguished, perhaps Gareth's influence has ended. Let's head outside and see whether we'll be congratulated or persecuted.
The Empire is forever indebted to you for defeating the tyrant that is Gareth and breaking the spell that he held over our people. Regardless of the authenticity of his Amulet of Kings, he abused his power and used the Empire as a means to subjugate and persecute. Your services to the Empire shall not be forgotten, and as High Chancellor of the Elder Council, I will ensure that you receive your just reward. I hereby unconditionally absolve you and your Knights of the Nine of all charges laid upon you during Gareth's rule. I also grant the Knights of the Nine official imperial recognition as an order devoted to fighting for faith, loyalty, courage, and honor. Finally, I wish to offer you the title of Commander of South Cyrodiil. Accepting the title entails duties to the Empire, but also many benefits. Your order will be required to patrol the area between Skingrad and Bravil and keep it free of bandits and monsters. In the event of incursions from elsewhere or an invasion of Tamriel, your order is required to militarily assist the Empire in any way possible. Finally, the Elder Council may issue you with specific missions of a military nature from time to time. As commander of South Cyrodiil, you will be provided a suitable fortification from which to carry out your duties. Castle Relis, which you captured from Gareth, will be renamed the Castle of the Nine, and you will be its lady. Upkeep of your knights and their equipment and the castle will be paid for by the Empire. Very well then, I shall have the paperwork drawn up so it can be ratified by the Council. You may start relocating your knights to the Castle of the Nine right away. I will also send one of my architects there to assist with the castle's refurbishment and refitting. Once again, on behalf of the Empire, I extend my thanks to the Knights of the Nine. On behalf of the Empire,
Crusader, Avatar of Pelennor returns victorious. From your humble beginnings as a pilgrim, you have journeyed alongside heroes, saints, Ada, and even the gods themselves. Twice you have stricken down Umaril the Unfeathered, Debaser and Sorcerer King of the Aliens. And likewise you have cast down Gareth, Oppressor and Defiler. Corrupt and profane was his power, enslaving man, mare, and beast alike. The Knights of the Nine, courage their birthright, valor their shield, and justice their sword. They stand fast against the shadow of tyranny and smite its influence wherever it may be found. As the gods have deemed you worthy, it is fitting that your citadel shall become a shrine to the Eight and One. I have consecrated the grounds on which this castle rests. Castle Relais is no longer a stronghold of oppression. Instead, the Castle of the Nine will protect and shelter those who walk with the Nine.
Well met.
Ah yes, thank you for asking. As you know, Gareth was an avid collector of ancient artifacts and often came here for research. We found that he had left some of his belongings here, and I think you ought to look at them. We found this arrow amongst his possessions. What's interesting is that it radiates magic very strongly, but we can't tell what kind of magic it is. You'll also notice that the arrow appears to have been dipped in some sort of blood. Only this, it was wrapped in this charcoal rubbing of a carved stone tablet, or stela. While the bottom part is missing, the top depicts 5 suns, with the middle one radiating strongly. We think this indicates midday, or high noon. Gareth scrawled Trumba on the sheet. Maybe that's where he obtained the rubbing, or was planning to go. It's the name of an Iliad ruin in the West Weald region. Here, I'll mark it on your map. That's all the information I have, I'm afraid. It's as much of a mystery to me as it is to you.
Farewell, Archmage.
Yes, this island that you describe is Wellspring Island, accessible via Wellspring Cave. As you saw when you were there last, it has nothing related to the Sun-Hallowed Arrow on it.